Chapter 21 He is your boss. You are listening at NovelsThe. Everyone present looked at the sound and saw Dong Tianda striding over. Seeing his boss coming, Zhang Daqing hurriedly greeted him with a flattering look on his face. Boss, you are here. There is a blind man who came to our restaurant to cause trouble. I will deal with him immediately. Before he could finish speaking, Dong Tianda slapped him in the face with a big mouth. You bastard, I'll deal with you first. How dare you disrespect Mr. Yi? Dong Tianda was furious. He tried his best to please Yi Bufan, and even sent him out of the restaurant, but this pig-brained subordinate actually wanted to attack him. Isn't this causing trouble for himself? He came to Yi Bufan and said apologetically, Dr. Yi, I'm sorry, there's a traffic jam on the road, I'm late, don't worry, I will definitely give you an explanation on this matter. Looking back, he said to Zhang Daqing, tell me, what is going on? Zhang Daqing was completely stunned by the slap just now, and said at a loss, Boss, it was Mr. Ma who said that Mr. Yi sneaked in. Knowing that he had caused a big trouble, he could only blame Ma Wenba on Ma Wenba, hoping that the relationship between Ma Wenba and his boss would tide over the situation. Seeing Dong Tianda looking at him, Ma Wenba quickly stretched out his hands and said, Hello, Mr. Dong. Dong Tianda gave him a cold look, showing no intention of reaching out. Who are you? Do I know you well? Ma Wenbo retracted his hands and said coquettishly, Mr. Dong is such a noble man and forgets things. We had dinner together. My dad is very talented. In fact, when he said that he knew Dong Tianda, he was completely flattering himself. Even his father was not on the same level as him. The Dong family is a tycoon in the catering industry with assets worth tens of billions, while his family is just an upstart with assets worth hundreds of millions. There is no comparison between the two. He originally wanted to use this to pretend to be awesome and gain face for himself, but he didn't expect that when he actually met Dong Tianda, his reputation was instantly blown. Although he mentioned his father's name, Dong Tianda still didn't look at him and turned to look at Zhang Daqing. You bastard, what do you do as a manager? Boss, please listen to my explanation. Zhang Daqing wanted to say something more, but was directly interrupted by Dong Tianda. Stop calling me boss. From today on, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Zui Jiangnan restaurant belongs to Mr. Yi, he is the boss here. After speaking, he opened the briefcase in his hand, took out the transfer procedures and sent it to Yi Bufan. Mr. Yi, I have completed all the relevant procedures. From now on, you have the final say in everything in the restaurant. After he said this, everyone present was dumbfounded. Zhang Daqing never dreamed that the poor boy he looked down on just now would suddenly become his boss, and instead of trying to please him, he would ask the security guards to kick him out. Is there anything more desperate than this? Zhu Linlin's eyes widened as she really couldn't believe what was happening. An hour ago, she kicked Yi Bufan away because she didn't have enough money, and now he has become the owner of such a big restaurant. If Ma Wenba hadn't known Dong Tianda, she would have thought it was just a show. Ma Wenba's face was burning. Just now, he had ridiculed him for not having enough money to eat here, but he immediately became the boss. Is there anything more embarrassing than this? Zhang Daqing was the first to come to his senses, slapped his face with two big mouths one after another, and then said with a flattering look, Boss, what happened just now is all my fault. I was blind. I apologize to you now. Please don't argue with me. Yi Bufan said calmly, No need, I am not your boss, you will be fired from now on. Don't do it, boss. Zhang Daqing said quickly, It was indeed my fault just now, but it happened for a reason. I didn't expect you to come to the private room booked by Mr. Ma. For the sake of extenuating circumstances, please forgive me this time. He had worked in the catering industry for so many years before he finally reached the position of general manager, and his annual salary was high. If he was fired like this, all his hard work would be in vain. Yi Bufan said calmly, I already gave you a chance and told you to check the registration records, but you didn't listen. In your eyes, guests have been classified into 3, 6, or 9 grades. No matter what Ma Wenba says, you believe it, but you don't believe anything I say. People like you who wear colored glasses are really not suitable to work here. You are obviously lying. Ma Wenbo was afraid of Dong Tianda, but not afraid of Yi Bufan. He took out his mobile phone and said, "Look, I have a reservation record here, and the reservation is for private room number 1. Seeing his firm tone, Yi Bufan also had some doubts in his heart. Could it be that Qin Chu Chu made a mistake? This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. At this time, Zhang Duqing grabbed the phone and looked up, then his face turned pale. "Ma, I've been fooled by you. Have you ever been to a high-end shopping mall? Do you know what you booked?" "What? What you booked was just an ordinary private room number 1, but this is a VIP private room number 1. They are completely different things." At this moment, his intestines were filled with regret. If he had known that he should have checked Ma Wenbo's text messages just now, he would not have made such a big mistake. Ma Wenbo looked embarrassed. He went to the wrong room, ran to someone else's high-end private room, and still yelled and pretended to be cool. This person was really embarrassed. Zhang Duqing said with a pleading look on his face, "Boss, please give me another chance. I will definitely be loyal in the future." Yi Bufan waved his hand and said, "I just said that the last chance has been given to you, but it's a pity that you didn't seize it. People like you are not suitable to work here, so pack your things and get out." Zhang Duqing was full of reluctance, but he had no choice but to leave here dejectedly. Yi Bufan looked at Ma Wenbo and Zhu Linlin again. "Didn't you just say that you wouldn't come here as long as I was here? From today on, you will be included in my restaurant's blacklist, and you will no longer be yours." Business. Ma Wenbo felt a burning pain on his face. Just now he wanted to use his identity to squeeze Yi Bufan away, but he became the boss here, and he was the one who had to leave in the end. "Boy, what's there to be proud of? Your woman has been snatched away by me." He glared at Yi Bufan angrily, and then said to Zhu Linlin, "What are you still doing here? Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? Come and follow me. Walk." But surprisingly, Zhu Linlin did not leave with him. Instead, she threw herself in front of Yi Bufan and said with a pleading look on her face, "Xiaofan, I was wrong this time. For the sake of our past friendship, let's be together again. How about it together?" That she had already made a calculation in her mind just now. Although Ma Wenbo was rich, he was just playing with her. She couldn't really get much, and he might be kicked away one day, but Yi Bufan was different. When the two of them were together in the past, even if he had 100 yuan, he would spend it on her. Besides, now he has a large restaurant worth tens of millions. If she can get back together with Yi Bufan, then she will become a multimillionaire sister in the future. Chapter 22 Prove It to You. You are listening at NovelsThe. You bitch. Let me ask you again, will you follow me? Ma Wenbo was so angry that his face was livid. He had just said that he had robbed the other party's woman, but he was immediately kicked by the woman. Where could he put his face? Zhu Linlin ignored the angry Ma Wenbo and said again, "Xiao Fan, I was really wrong this time. I was deceived by this man's rhetoric. Give me another chance and I will treat you well in the future." In the past, when she and Yi Bufan were together, no matter what kind of mistakes she made, as long as she bowed her head and admitted her mistake and said a few nice words, Yi Bufan would eventually choose to forgive, but she forgot that there was no comparison between now and before. At that time, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but now she had betrayed this relationship. The nature of the mistake was completely different. Moreover, at this moment, Yi Bufan is already the inheritor of the ancient medical sect, and his vision and realm are completely different from before. How could he not see that the reason why Zhu Linlin did this was entirely because of her own money and had nothing to do with her previous emotions? Once she falls into poverty again, she will still kick him away without hesitation. He said coldly, "Zhu Linlin, there are some mistakes that you cannot make. Once you make them, there is no chance to correct them. Put away your tricks. Just like you said, from now on there will be no relationship between us, and no one should pester anyone again. Xiao Fan, I was joking with you. Don't take it seriously. I still love you. Zhu Linlin still holds on to innocent fantasies and works hard for her dream of becoming a multimillionaire sister. You shameless bitch, just wait for me. And you, a poor guy, we are not done yet. Ma Wenbo really had no shame in staying any longer and left here angrily. Dr. Yi, I have to leave first. I will send a manager to take care of the restaurant for you later. Dong Tianda also knew that it was not appropriate to stay here under such an occasion, so he said hello and left in a hurry. Xiao Fan, please forgive me just once, okay? From now on, when we are together, you can do whatever you want. Seeing that there was no one in the private room, Zhu Linlin rushed forward and wanted to use her own body in exchange for the other party's forgiveness, but was pushed away by Yi Bufan. Zhu Linlin, let me say it again, there is no relationship between us anymore, please respect yourself. After what happened just now, Yi Bufan was completely disappointed with this woman, and the previous feelings no longer existed. What are you doing? Yi Bu, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Fan, what do you want? When the two of them were together, Zhu Linlin unconsciously returned to her previous condescending mentality. I've already apologized to you, what else do you want? Besides me, can you find such a beautiful girlfriend? At this moment, a pleasant voice came, of course, I am his girlfriend, and she is much prettier than you. In every woman's heart, she is the most beautiful and will never give up easily. When Zhu Linlin heard that the other party claimed to be prettier than herself, Zhu Linlin was about to retort, but the moment she turned around, she shut her mouth and could not say a word. Because the woman in front of her was so beautiful that she felt ashamed of herself and completely lost the courage to fight back. There is no harm without comparison. Among ordinary people, Zhu Linlin can be considered a somewhat pretty little girl, but in front of this woman, she instantly dimmed. It was Qin Chu Chu who came here. She was wearing a bohemian dress today. Her tall figure was curved forward and backward. She was even more perfect than an international supermodel. What's more eye-catching than her figure is her appearance, which is so beautiful without any flaws, with no blind spots at 360 degrees, it's simply exquisite to the extreme. You, who are you? Zhu Linlin asked extremely guilty. Why, are your ears hard to use? I just told you that she is Xiaofan's girlfriend. Qin Chu Chu said, walking to Yi Bufan's side and holding his arm. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. In Zhu Linlin's heart, Yi Bufan was just a poor boy before, how could he find such an outstanding girlfriend? You don't believe it, do you? Then I'll prove it to you. Qin Chu Chu said and kissed Yi Bufan on the cheek. How is it? Do you believe it now? Yi Bufan was also a little confused. It was understandable that Qin Chu Chu came to his rescue. After all, he had helped Qin Chu Chu before, but he didn't expect her to come for real. Although they had been in a relationship for more than a year, Zhu Linlin had never kissed him. This was the first time he was kissed by a girl. It was as if his body was electrified. The wonderful feeling was indescribable. Zhu Linlin was stunned at first, and then shouted hysterically, I don't believe it, I just don't believe it, you must have hired me with money. In her heart, she still despised Yi Bufan, thinking that he would never be able to find a better woman than herself. Hire me? Qin Chu Chu smiled confidently, let me introduce myself, I am the vice president of the Qin Group, and I control the data. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. With assets of 1 billion and thousands of employees, do you think anyone can afford to hire me? Zhu Linlin's mood instantly dropped to the extreme. Not only was her appearance and figure much better than hers, but her identity and status were also instantly crushed by her. How could she compare? Yi Bufan didn't want to pay attention to Zhu Linlin anymore, turned to Qin Chu Chu and said, when did you come? I've been here for a while, and I've heard almost everything about you outside. Qin Chu Chu held Yi Bufan's arm affectionately and said to Zhu Linlin, to be honest, I still want to thank you very much. If you hadn't been such a mindless money worshipper, I wouldn't have had such an outstanding boyfriend like Bufan. She had just lost Ma Wenbo, and now she could not get Yi Bufan. Coupled with the pressure Qin Chu Chu had brought to her, Zhu Linlin completely lost control of her heart at this moment. She yelled crazily, what's wrong? Which woman doesn't love money? Do you think all women are like you, born with a golden key in their mouths, that I just want to live a better life? What's wrong? Is this wrong? Ye Bufan shook his head secretly in his heart. People say that you are strong when you are righteous. This woman can actually speak out her shamelessness so righteously. It is weird to the extreme. I really don't know how I was with her before, he said. Well, it has nothing to do with me what kind of life you want to pursue. We have nothing to do with you now. You can go. At this moment, Zhu Linlin knew what it meant to beat a chicken with a flying egg. She glared at Yi Bufan bitterly, then turned and walked out the door. Wait a moment, Qin Chu Chu stopped Zhu Linlin. What else are you going to do? Zhu Linlin shouted angrily. It's nothing. I just want to tell you that it's okay to worship money, but you have to be smart and don't be fooled by people who are confused. Qin Chu Chu took 2 steps forward, pointed to the jade bracelet on her wrist and said, this thing of yours is made of granite and chemicals. Not only is it worthless, but wearing it on your hand will be harmful to the body. Over time, you might even get cancer. Zhu Linlin was stunned for a moment, then shouted, What, this is impossible. This is the jade bracelet that Ma Wenbo gave me. It costs more than 20,000 yuan, and it even has a certificate. The first night she and Ma Wenbo were together was all about this bracelet, and she couldn't believe it was a fake made of granite. Qin Chu Chu smiled disdainfully. Let me tell you, the antique jade industry is very deep. Our family's main business is the jade industry. Do you think what I say is not more effective than those so-called certificates? Chapter 23 Trouble is Coming. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan didn't pay attention to this bracelet at first, but now after scanning with his spiritual consciousness, he found that the material inside was really made of granite, with no aura at all. On the contrary, there was a layer of gray aura. This aura would be very harmful to the human body after a long time. Big damage. Seeing that Zhu Linlin still didn't believe it, Qin Chu Chu picked up a spoon on the table, took off the jade bracelet on his wrist and knocked it. The sound was clear and sweet. Actually, it's very simple to identify this thing. Just knock it and see what the sound is. If the sound is crisp, it means jade or jade. If the sound is dull, it's made of stone. Zhu Linlin took off the bracelet and tapped it with a spoon. It made a thumping sound, which was not as clear and sweet as Qin Chu Chu's. Ma Wenhua, you bastard! After confirming that this was a fake bracelet that was harmful to the human body, Zhu Linlin threw it to the ground. With a snapping sound, the bracelet was shattered into pieces, revealing the undyed part inside, which was undoubtedly granite. Qin Chu Chu stepped forward again and pointed at her LV bag and said, He won't treat this thing as a genuine gift to you, right? Let me tell you, this thing is a piece of goods. You can find it on a certain treasure for tens of dollars. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. This is a limited edition LV bag that his friend brought back from abroad. It costs more than 40,000 yuan. There is no way it is a fake. Zhu Linlin was about to collapse. She climbed into Ma Wenbo's bed because of the bracelet, and broke up with Yi Bufan because of the bag. If they were all fake, then she really had a death wish. It seems that you have never used an authentic LV bag, so I will give you a free appraisal now. Qin Chu Chu said, for an authentic LV bag, the circle R with brand engraving is the smallest among the 3 rows of English letters, and yours not small at all, even the biggest. Look at the metal parts on the bag. Genuine metal parts are well polished, with clear engravings and a mild luster. However, yours is colored at first glance, and the words are not clear. The most important thing is that your bag is not even leather, it is completely dyed and low-end. As she spoke, she took the half glass of water that Yi Bufan had just left and sprinkled it on Zhu Linlin's LV bag. She stretched out 2 fingers and wiped it, and the purple color on the bag got on her hands. Now even a fool knows that this bag is fake. Ah! Ma, I'm going to kill you! Zhu Linlin let out a desperate howl and then rushed out of the private room like crazy. It's worthless for 2 things. This chapter is not finished. please turn the page, that I gave up a super diamond stock because of fake goods. No one can stand this kind of stimulation. Bufan shook his head and said, why are you doing this? That if it hadn't been exposed, Zhu Linlin would still have had some comfort by guarding these two fakes. Now, even the last bit of comfort in her heart has been shattered. Qin Chu Chu smiled and said, this woman actually kicked you for money. I want her to know clearly how stupid her behavior is. Bufan said, let the past go. Thank you for helping me today. Qin Chu Chu looked at him with burning eyes and said, how do you want to thank me? You know that was my first kiss. Bufan said, what should I do? I'll give you my first kiss too. Who cares? A blush appeared on Qin Chu Chu's cheeks. For some reason, all she thought about today was the man in front of her, and she was a little distracted while working. After finally getting off work, when I heard Zhu Linlin say that Bufan didn't have a girlfriend, he stood up without hesitation, as if he was eager for this opportunity in his heart, and didn't offer his first kiss in more than 20 years. No hesitation. In order to cover up her shyness, she said, what exactly did you do for Dong Tianda? He actually gave you a restaurant? His son was infected with an unknown virus that time, and I rescued him. Bufan recounted what happened at Jiangnan Hospital. To thank me, he gave me this restaurant as a medical fee. Qin Chu Chu said in surprise, you have such good medical skills. Bufan said, no one in the world has better medical skills than me. Boast. Qin Chu Chu obviously didn't believe it, but at this moment, Bufan's cell phone rang. It was Zhou Yongliang, the director of the health bureau. He pressed the answer button and said, Director Zhou, what can I do? Zhou Yongliang said excitedly on the phone, Dr. Yi, where are you? I want to treat you to dinner tonight. To tell you the truth, the last time a primary school student was suddenly infected with the virus, the health bureau handled it very effectively and did not cause any serious consequences or adverse effects. I have just been praised by the above and given a large bonus. Don't forget the well digger when you are drinking water. All this is your credit. Of course I want to thank you, this great doctor. Does this little thing count? This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. What, it's my duty as a doctor. Bufan said, but Director Zhou has been commended, so we should celebrate. I'm at Zui Jiangnan restaurant now. Come over. Okay, I'm not far from there, I'll be there soon. After Zhou Yongliang finished speaking, he hung up the phone. At this time, a middle-aged man in his 40s came to the door of the private room with the middle-level management staff of the restaurant. The middle-aged man said, Hello, Mr. Yi, my name is Lu Kai. Mr. Dong asked me to come here to temporarily manage this restaurant for you on behalf of Zhang Daqing. Oh. Thank you for your hard work. Lu Kai seemed smart and capable, and Bufan was very satisfied with Dong Tianda's arrangement. He has his own arrangements for this restaurant. His mother has been running her own small bun shop. Not to mention that she doesn't make much money, it is really hard work through wind and rain. Ouyang Lan is a very strong-willed person. Even though he is rich, it is impossible for her to be idle. Now that he has this restaurant, his mother can just come and enjoy it. However, it is obviously not suitable for my mother to be the general manager. Lu Kai is only a temporary arrangement. He will still be returned to Dong Tianda when a suitable candidate is found in the future. After meeting, Lu Kai and others took their places, and the restaurant started operating in an orderly manner, without falling into chaos because of Zhang Daqing's departure. In a short time, Zhou Yongliang rushed over. Bufan introduced him to Qin Chu Chu, and the three of them sat down to eat together. The master chef at Zuixinlu is really good at his craftsmanship, and the three of us had a great time eating. But after a while, Lu Kai suddenly walked in from outside in a hurry and said anxiously, Something happened to the boss. A group of people claiming to be the health inspection team suddenly came downstairs. They said that the hygiene of our hotel was not up to standard. We need to ask for it now. Shut down for rectification. Bufan frowned. He had just taken over the restaurant, and trouble immediately came to his door. He immediately realized that this matter had something to do with Ma Wenbo. He was the only one who knew about this matter, and he also had issues with himself. After hearing Lu Kai's report, Zhou Yongliang couldn't help but feel embarrassed. He, the leader, is eating there, and his subordinates are looking for trouble. Where should he put his face? How else to eat this meal? He said, Dr. Yi, leave this matter to me. I'll go down and see what's going on. Yi Bufan said, let's go together. After saying that, he and Qin Chu followed Lu Kai to the hall downstairs. Chapter 24. I've tolerated you for a long time. You are listening at NovelsThe. On the way downstairs, Yi Bufan said to Zhou Yongliang, Director Zhou, don't worry. If they are doing a normal inspection, we should still cooperate. Zhou Yongliang nodded, and after going downstairs, he did not rush forward, but followed the two people. Let's go, don't eat here, the hygiene of this restaurant is not up to standard. Let's go, this place is closed. When I came to the hall, I saw 4 or 5 people in health inspection uniforms driving away the guests. A middle-aged man in the lead was standing next to Ma Wenbo smoking. The steward in the lobby said to the middle-aged man, Sir, could you please put out your cigarette? Smoking is prohibited here. The middle-aged man glanced at him disdainfully. The restaurants will be closed soon, what's so big about me having a cigarette? Besides, why are you so busy? You are not the boss, call your boss out quickly. When several people went downstairs, they happened to see the scene being cleared. Lu Kai stepped forward and shouted angrily, Why do you shut down our restaurant? The middle-aged man sneered and said, The hygiene here is not up to par, what if someone is killed? You should close down the business for rectification. Lu Kai said, Everything we operate here is legal and compliant, and there is no problem with hygiene. You didn't even go to our kitchen, so why do you say we are unqualified? Why? Just because I am the section chief of the inspection section, whoever I say is qualified will be qualified, and whoever I say is unqualified will be unqualified. Zhou Yongliang was originally standing at the back. If these people were just doing a normal routine inspection, he would not be prepared to intervene. But when he saw the scene in front of him, he immediately stepped forward and said angrily, Nonsense, who gave you the right? The middle-aged man glanced at him disdainfully, Old man, our noses are breathing a lot, right? Just stay cool and cool. You are not the boss, so what does it have to do with you? You. Don't be angry, leave this matter to me. Zhou Yongliang's lungs were about to burst with anger. Just as he was about to have a seizure, he was pulled behind him by Yi Bufan. He glanced at the middle-aged man in front of him and said jokingly, You don't know this person? The middle-aged man said while smoking a cigarette, Why should I know him? Is he so awesome? At this time, Ma Wenbo stepped forward with a proud look on his face and said, Yi, you finally came down. Now you know how powerful I am. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Come on, I thought it was great to have a restaurant, but if I pissed off my young master, I would have you closed down in a minute. Qin Chu said, There must be a reason for closing such a big restaurant, right? Ma Wenbo glanced at her greedily for a few times, and then said arrogantly, This is Section Chief Lu of the Inspection Department. He just said that his words are the reason. If you are told to close the door, you have to close the door. To tell you the truth, if you don't satisfy me today, you won't have to think about opening your restaurant in the future. Yi Bufan stopped Qin Chu and said, Tell me, what should I do to satisfy you? Boy, do you now know what will happen if you offend this young master? Didn't you just pretend to be cool like young Master Ji above? Are you afraid now? Let me tell you, even if you have money, you are still a nouveau riche. Your connections are incomparable to those of me. It only takes a matter of minutes to kill you. Ma Wenbo said proudly, For the sake of your sense, I don't want to embarrass you too much. 1 million. As long as you come up with 1 million today, the matter will be over. Qin Chu said angrily, Why should I give you money? Why don't you grab it? The middle-aged man shouted, Little girl, why are you talking so much nonsense? Believe it or not, I don't even want your money. I will directly close your store so that you will never open it. Yi Bufan said, 1 million is not too much, but you have to give me a reason, right? that the middle-aged man said arrogantly. The reason is, your hygiene here is not up to standard, and 1 million is a fine. Zhou Yongliang's face turned livid with anger, and he couldn't help but say again, opening your mouth is worth 1 million, you are really powerful, who are you? Take out your ID and let me see. The middle-aged man said dissatisfiedly, old man, I'll put up with this beautiful girl's words. Why do you, a bad old man, keep getting involved? You can also see my ID, so get out of here. Yi Bufan stopped Zhou Yongliang again and said, which department are you from? Ma Wenbo said, this is Section Chief Lu of the Inspection Section of the Health Bureau. If you offend him, your store will be closed down in a minute. Section Chief Lu, right? He's so majestic. Yi Bufan said jokingly, you don't even know the director, but you have the nerve to say that you are the section chief. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page, the middle-aged man said disdainfully, are you trying to scare me with the director? Let me tell you, if our director comes, the consequences here will be more serious. Then it won't be something that can be solved with 1 million. But your director is already here. Yi Bufan said, let me introduce to you, this is Director Zhou of the Health Bureau, you didn't even figure out who the director was, so you came here to pretend to be the section chief. It seems that your performance was not up to standard. The middle-aged man's expression changed, and then he said, boy, are you trying to scare me with the director? Do you think you can just find an old man to be our director? Zhou Yongliang said angrily, I am the director of the Health Bureau. Which department do you belong to? Please tell me quickly. This time, panic flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes, and he turned to look at Ma Wenbo. Ma Wenbo didn't care. He threw the cigarette but in his hand on the ground, looked at Zhou Yongliang sarcastically and said, you are such a bear and want to pretend to be the director. The total cost of the clothes you are wearing is less than 500 yuan, right? That he had already figured out Yi Bufan's situation clearly. It was such a poor boy who somehow got lucky and saved Dong Tianda's son, but no matter what, a poor boy is a poor boy. He has no connections, and it is even less likely that he knows the director of the Health Bureau. He ignored the livid Zhou Yongliang and said to Yi Bufan again, 1 million, do you want to pay it or not? If not, your store will be closed now. That the middle-aged man seemed to have regained his confidence, and was shouted by several subordinates next to him, okay, let's not talk nonsense to him, close the store now, you just wait until it closes. I'll seal you off as my sister, I've been putting up with you for a long time. Yi Bufan raised his leg and kicked the middle-aged man to the ground. Everyone else was shocked. They didn't expect that this young man who was polite just now would have such a hot temper and would take action whenever he asked. There were many people watching the excitement gathered at the door of the restaurant, and they were all shocked. You must know that these people are usually aloof and powerful, but the owner of this restaurant actually beat him up whenever he asked. The middle-aged man obviously did not expect this result. When he came back to his senses, he was completely angry and shouted to several of his subordinates, are you all fools? Come to me quickly. Destroy this kid first, and then smash him his restaurant. After hearing the order, those few people immediately rushed towards Yi Bufan with fierce expressions. Chapter 25 Young Master Ma Who Loves to Cheat. You are listening at NovelsThe. But how could these people be Yi Bufan's opponents? In the blink of an eye, they were all knocked to the ground, lying next to the middle-aged man with a look of pain on their faces, and kept screaming. Ma Wenbo shouted, Yi, do you know what you are doing? You even dare to beat up people from the Health Bureau. Now you are in big trouble. You quickly come up with 1 million as compensation, otherwise I will call the police now and let you spend the rest of your life in jail. Yi Bufan looked at him and smiled coldly, okay, then you can fight me now. Anyway, I have eaten everything in my life, but I have never eaten prison food. Ma Wenbo's expression froze. Unexpectedly, the other party was not afraid of his threat at all. He took out his mobile phone and said again, I'm not kidding you. If I really make the call, it will be too late for you to regret it. Qin Chu Chu whispered, Fifan, you are indeed a little impulsive. How about we keep it private? Although she is from the Qin family, Yi Bufan caused too much trouble today and it is really difficult to deal with it. It would be best if she could spend money to settle the matter. She spoke not loudly, but Ma Wenbo still heard her, and said with a proud look on her face, "Did you hear that? This is the wisest thing to do." But Yi Bufan waved his hand and said, "No need, you call the police now. Whoever doesn't beat his grandson today." His attitude was far beyond Qin Chuchu's expectation, but what was even more surprising was that Ma Wenbo had a mobile phone in his hand, but he didn't dare to call the police. "Fight, why don't you fight? Are you willing to pretend to be a grandson?" Yi Bufan said, raised his hand and slapped Ma Wenbo on the face, knocking him to the ground. "You fucking dare to hit me, believe it or not." Before he could say harsh words, Yi Bufan slapped his face with a big mouth again, and in the blink of an eye he was beaten into a pig's head. Everyone was dumbfounded and wondered how this young man could be so bold. Qin Chuchu was secretly anxious, feeling that today's matter was indeed a big deal. The middle-aged man shouted, "Boy, let me tell you, you are in big trouble today. Do you know what you are doing?" "Of course I know, I am here to eliminate harm for the people." As he spoke, Yi Bufan came to the middle-aged man again, reached out and grabbed his collar, and with one stab, pulled off his uniform. Everyone in the room was stunned when they saw that the middle-aged man had a ferocious wolf head tattooed on his chest and 2 snakes on his arms. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Before the matter was over, Yi Bufan walked up to several other people and quickly took off all their clothes, leaving only a pair of shorts to cover their shame, and everyone was surprised to find that these people all had various tattoos on their bodies, without exception. Some had wolf heads, some had tigers, and one fat guy even had a funny tattoo of a bear on his chest. Qin Chuchu asked in surprise, "Xiaofan, what on earth is going on?" But even though she didn't know exactly what happened, she also saw some clues. There were clear official regulations in China that uniformed personnel were not allowed to have tattoos. These people are all fake. They are not from the inspection department of the health bureau at all, but are fake people from the public. When the fake section chief Lu did not recognize Zhou Yongliang, he had already noticed that something was wrong. How could the section chief of the audit section of the health bureau not recognize the director? After scanning with his spiritual consciousness, he immediately saw that these people had tattoos on their bodies. It was obvious that these were fakes from members of the society. At this time, Ma Wenbo was completely dumbfounded, and his face turned pale. He originally thought that Yi Bufan was just a poor boy who had not left school. As long as he found someone in uniform to scare him, he would immediately extort some money to make up for the face he had lost today, but he didn't expect that the other party was actually with the director of the health bureau, let alone that he had the consciousness to see through everything. Yi Bufan came to him, knelt down and said jokingly, "Young Master Ma, you are really used to making lies." Even if she gave Zhu Linlin a granite bracelet and a fake bag, she still dared to find some gangsters to pretend to be official people. Zhou Yongliang shouted angrily, "It's outrageous. It's outrageous. This matter must be dealt with seriously. Now I will call the police and ask people from the Public Security Bureau to come over." "Don't call the police, don't call the police. If you have something to discuss, let's discuss it." Ma Wenbo also realized the seriousness of the matter and said with a pleading face, "Can we keep it private? How much do you want? I'll do it right away. Give." Looking at his pitiful expression, Qin Chuchu burst into laughter. The situation turned around too quickly. Just a moment ago, he wanted to blackmail someone, but in the blink of an eye, he offered to compensate him. "Director Zhou, since they want to talk, let's talk first." Yi Bufan looked at Ma Wenbo and said, "You brought people to my place to cause trouble, ruined the reputation of our restaurant, and drove away so many of my customers. Tell me, how much money are you going to pay me?" "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." Ma Wenbo said, 100,000, I am willing to compensate you 100,000. 100,000. Such a big number. Yi Bufan said with disdain, "You just asked me for 1 million, and now you're giving me 100,000. Isn't that stingy?" Ma Wenbo felt regretful. He just wanted to hit him hard, but he turned around and hit himself on the head. After hesitating for a moment, he finally gritted his molars and said, "Then I will compensate you 1 million. 1 million is not enough, plus the loss of my restaurant will at least double, to 2 million. Why don't you go and grab it?" Ma Wenbo shouted. 2 million is too much, I can't take it out. Yi Bufan smiled coldly, turned around and said to Qin Chu Chu, impersonating an official and extorting 1 million, "How many years should I be sentenced according to Chinese law?" Qin Chu Chu said, "It takes 10 and 8 years anyway." Yi Bufan said, "Young Master Ma, 2 million or 10 years in prison, you choose one." "Boy, you are so cruel." Ma Wenbo would not send himself to prison under any circumstances. In desperation, he could only take out his checkbook, signed a check for 2 million and sent it over. Yi Bufan took the check, looked at it, and said, "You are so good at forgery. Who knows if it is true or not? Either take the 2 million in cash now or transfer it." Ma Wenbo had no choice but to take out his mobile phone and transfer 2 million to Yi Bufan's bank card. "Can I go now?" That he made 2 million yuan just after taking over the restaurant. Yi Bufan was still very satisfied and said, "Go away, don't let me see you again in the future." Ma Wenbo glared at him with an extremely resentful look, and then ran out of the restaurant with the others in despair. After such a commotion, everyone was no longer interested in continuing to eat. Zhou Yongliang left the place directly. Yi Bufan handed over the affairs of the restaurant to Lu Kai, and then walked out with Qin Chu Chu. Qin Chu Chu asked, "Have you already seen that those people are fake?" Yi Bufan said, "Of course, there is no real inspection section chief who doesn't know his own director." "Then how did you see that those people had tattoos?" Yi Bufan glanced at Qin Chu Chu playfully, "Because I have a pair of clairvoyant eyes and can see through clothes." Chapter 26 Collecting Protection Fees. You are listening at NovelsThe. While speaking, he glanced at Qin Chu Chu inadvertently. When he saw the scenery under the long skirt, he couldn't help but feel his nostrils heat up. This woman's figure was too perfect, 1.2 much is too fat, 1.2 little is too little. She is as perfect as Venus in sculpture, but she has 2 more delicate arms. Because of this, the feeling after taking a look was too exciting. He quickly turned his head away, fearing that his nose would bleed, which would be very embarrassing. Seeing his expression and thinking of the 2 consecutive scenes together, Qin Chu Chu was shocked. If Yi Bufan really had a pair of clairvoyant eyes, wouldn't he be seen naked? Thinking of this, she felt frightened, and immediately covered her chest with both hands, and said nervously, "Can't what you said be true?" "Of course it can't be true. How can a person have clairvoyance?" Yi Bufan quickly made an excuse for himself and said, "I'm just more observant than you. I saw some tattoos on that person's chest just now." Hearing what he said, Qin Chu Chu felt that it was reasonable, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and said, "That's pretty much it. It really scared me to death." Yi Bufan secretly took another look at the wonderful scenery on his chest, and suddenly felt his face flush and his heart beating. This scenery was too stimulating to him, so he quickly looked away. Seeing his appearance, Qin Chu Chu said dissatisfiedly, "Why don't you look at me? Am I ugly?" Yi Bufan secretly complained in his heart, "Women are really strange creatures, they can't even look at them, and they can't even do it without looking at them. What kind of trouble do you want to make?" Fortunately, the 2 arrived at the parking lot quickly. Qin Chu Chu got in the car and left, and Yi Bufan also returned to the hotel he rented. In comparison, the conditions of the hotel are much better than those of the dormitory. The most important thing is that it is quiet, so you don't have to worry about being disturbed while practicing. Early the next morning, he left the hotel refreshed and rushed towards his mother's breakfast stall. Boyang Lan's cooking skills are very good. After eating breakfast in so many places, no one can compare to the steamed buns steamed by her mother. Yi Bufan didn't eat, so he wanted to go over and enjoy the breakfast made by his mother, and help his mother along the way. The breakfast stall run by Ouyang Lan is some distance away from here. In the urban village of Dongqing district, the place has long been clamoring to be relocated, but has yet to move. Ouyang Lan was driven away from home by several uncles 3 years ago. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. After he came out, he came to Jiangnan city alone, rented a small house of more than 10 square meters, and ran a breakfast. He worked hard to make money to support the two brothers and sisters in school. Sister Ouyang Jing is 1 year younger than Yi Bufan and is studying in college in Jiangbei City. The children of the poor have long been in charge of their families. Even though they were on summer vacation, Ouyang Jing was still working and studying outside and did not come back. Thinking of Ouyang Lan's kindness to him over the years, Yi Bufan couldn't help but feel moved. Although he was an adopted child, his mother had always treated him as her own, even better than her own daughter. The environment of the urban village is extremely poor. The surrounding buildings are in dilapidated condition, and the stinking ditch next to it is constantly emitting a stench. In addition, it just rained last night, and the roads are even more muddy. Yi Bufan frowned as he walked. Ouyang Lan rented here because the house prices here were cheap. Fortunately, he has money and owns his own restaurant, so his mother and sister will no longer have to suffer. After Ouyang Lan returned from Jiangnan Hospital, she felt that her previous dizziness was gone. Her whole body was full of strength and she was full of energy in everything she did. She seemed to be more than 10 years younger all of a sudden. She got up early today and started selling steamed buns. Since her steamed buns were delicious and she had many regular customers, she quickly sold more than half of the dozen drawers of steamed buns. While she was busy, 4 or 5 young gangsters dressed in colorful clothes came to the bun stall. "Lady boss, business is good," said the leader, a young gangster wearing a floral shirt and a mohawk. Ouyang Lan's expression tightened when she saw these people, and then she said with a smile on her face, "Brothers, my bun stall seems to be crowded, but in fact it doesn't make much money at all. Have you had your meal? My freshly baked buns are still hot, so you can eat as you like." Mohican said, "Don't talk so much nonsense. When will you pay the protection fee this month? I'd like to ask some of the younger brothers to give this a few days' grace. I really haven't made much money recently. I just went to the hospital again." The expression on the Mohawk's head quickly turned cold, and he shouted arrogantly, "What's the matter with us if you're going to go to the hospital or not? As long as you're alive, the protection fee won't be less." A flash of anger flashed across Ouyang Lan's face, but then he endured it. He took out a $100 bill from the canvas bag around his waist and said, "Brothers, I just sold so much today. Beside, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page." The yellow-haired gangster next to me stepped forward and grabbed a $100 bill, and then said, "This is not even enough to send the beggars, you have to pay at least 1,000 yuan this month." Ouyang Lan said with a face full of pleading, "I only earn 2,000 to 3,000 yuan a month selling steamed buns. I still have to eat and send my children to school. How can I have so much money?" Mohican shouted, "Are you out of your fucking mind? Don't you know what's important? This money was collected by Master Maggio. Is it more important that your children go to school or that Master Maggio's face is more important?" The yellow-haired gangster raised his leg and kicked over the cage next to him, causing the snow-white buns to fall to the floor. "If you can't pay the protection fee, what the hell are you going to sell? From now on, just drink the northwest wind." Seeing these little gangsters being so unreasonable, the vendors nearby were very angry, but they knew that these people were subordinates of Maggio, the big gangster leader in Dongqing district, and they couldn't afford to provoke them. They dared not speak out in anger. At this time, Uncle Zhang, who was selling deep-fried dough sticks and big fruit next to him, said, "It's not easy for Ouyang, a woman, to raise 2 children at home. How about you give me a few more days of grace?" "Excuse me. The children she raised were not fucking born to me. What do they have to do with me?" Mohican yelled arrogantly, "If you continue to meddle in your own fucking business, I'll put your fried dough sticks on the floor." Smashed. Uncle Zhang sighed and said nothing. Although he sympathized with Ouyang Lan, he really couldn't afford to offend these people. Mohican said to Xiao Huangmao, "Bring her bag over and see if there is any money left." Xiao Huangmao agreed and came to Ouyang Lan, reaching out to grab the canvas bag on his waist. Ouyang Lan's expression changed drastically. The 20,000 yuan given by Yi Bufan was all in her bag. She quickly stretched out her arms to protect the bag. "What are you doing? You can't touch this bag." Mohican shouted, "Sure enough, you still have some damn money, grab it from me." Xiao Huangmao reached out to grab the canvas bag. Although Ouyang Lan tried her best to protect her, how could she, a woman, be a match for a grown man? After tearing it twice, Xiao Huangmao grabbed the canvas bag and pulled it hard, tearing the bag in half. 2 stacks of 100 yuan bills and some scattered coins inside fell out. Sure enough, you are rich, but you still pretend to be poor with me. Xiao Huangmao cursed and grabbed the 2 stacks of $100 bills, but at this moment a big foot appeared out of thin air and trampled his hand hard. Chapter 28, Raising Troops to Investigate Crimes. You are listening at NovelsThe. No problem, no problem. The Mohawk was so afraid of the evil star in front of him that he quickly took out all the banknotes in the pockets of the 4 people, which amounted to about 4,000 to 5,000 yuan. Brother, we only have so much left. Do you think you can let us go? Yi Bufan was not very satisfied at first, but then Ouyang Lan stepped forward and said, Son, let them go quickly. For the sake of my mother, let's forget about today's matter and go away, but remember, you are not allowed to come here to collect protection money in the future, otherwise I will beat you every time I see you, remember? Remember, we remember. As if they were granted amnesty, several gangsters immediately got up from the ground and escaped from the village in the city in a panic. Young man, well done, you helped us vent our anger today. Great, these bastards should have been dealt with long ago. If I had your skills, I would have taught them a lesson long ago. Seeing that these gangsters were dealt with, the neighbors were very happy and kept praising Yi Bufan, but there were worries. Uncle Zhang next door stepped forward and said, Xiaofan, you have caused a big trouble this time. These gangsters are not scary, but behind them is Master Ma Jiu, who has hundreds of people under his control. If you hit these gangsters, it's like hitting Master Ma Jiu in the face. He will definitely not let it go. You should leave quickly, otherwise you will be in trouble when those people come. Hearing what he said, Ouyang Lan suddenly became nervous and said, Son, please leave quickly. Mom is here to support you. Mom, how can you support me? Yi Bufan burst into laughter. From now on, my son will be responsible for everything. Don't worry, they are just some ruffians, nothing special. Uncle Zhang said worriedly, Xiaofan, Uncle Zhang can see that you are quite capable of fighting, but can you beat 1, or can you beat 10? Master Ma Jiu has hundreds of gangsters under his command, and every one of them is ruthless. Take Uncle Zhang's advice and leave as soon as possible. Yi Bufan also knew that he meant well, so he didn't explain anything more and said with a smile, Don't worry, not only am I leaving today, but my mother is also moving away from here. He turned back to Ouyang Lan and said, Mom, come with me. Son, where are we going? How long should we go? How about you go on your own, while Mom is here to support me? Mom is a woman, and they can't do anything to me. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. In Ouyang Lan's view, his son had offended Master Ma Jiu and wanted to go out and hide for a while. Unable to explain what happened in the restaurant, Yi Bufan said, Mom, we are not going out to hide, but we have important things for you to do. You will never come back here again. Ouyang Lan said in surprise, Never come back again? But there is still 1 year's rent here. No, just give this house to Uncle Zhang. Yi Bufan is not short of the thousands of yuan in rent money now. Besides, Uncle Zhang has indeed helped Ouyang Lan a lot in these years, so he handed over the thousands of yuan that he had collected in his hand. Those gangsters have bullied our neighbors over the years. You can share the money with everyone. It can be considered a small amount of compensation. Uncle Zhang said, Xiaofan, this is the money you got back. We can't take it. There is also this house. How about I give you the rent money? No, Uncle Zhang, just take it. Yi Bufan gave Uncle Zhang the stack of money and the house key, then turned to Ouyang Lan and said, Mom, let's go. Ouyang Lan said, How can you be so anxious? Even if I leave, I still have to clean up. What's there to clean up? I don't want those tattered clothes. We'll buy new ones in the future. Yi Bufan knew that his mother lived a frugal life, but now that he was rich, he no longer had to suffer as before. No, I have to take a lot of things with me. You haven't married yet, so even if you have money, you can't spend it carelessly. Ouyang Lan couldn't bear it, so she took out a large canvas bag and went into the house to pack her things. Mom, just take a little less, and we'll buy new ones for the rest. Yi Bufan had no choice. The house was too small and it seemed crowded for two people to enter, so he waited outside. After a while, his cell phone rang. Just as the call was connected, he Shuang shouted angrily, Yi Bufan, where are you? I'm in the village in the city. Is there anything wrong? Of course I have something to do. Send me your location and I'll go find you right now. Oh well. Although he felt that this little girl was here to cause trouble for him, Yi Bufan didn't care and sent his location. He Shuang had just finished the case in her hand. After dealing with Tai Tu and the others, she realized that she had blocked the gun for others. It turned out that those people were here to cause trouble for Yi Bufan. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. If it were anyone else, she wouldn't have said anything, but this guy happened to be the uncle she hated the most, causing her to get a Jetta smashed into her. This made her unable to swallow this breath no matter what, so she finished dealing with what was at hand. He immediately came to find Yi Bufan and asked for help. She drove her sports car to the urban village at full speed, but found that the roads here were too bad and the chassis of the sports car was too low to drive in. You bastard, you come to such a shabby place. He Shuang cursed, parked the car and walked in. Yi Bufan watched the little girl walk over with a livid face from a distance, and couldn't help but feel amused in his heart. Yi, tell me clearly what happened yesterday. He Shuang came to him and said fiercely. Yi Bufan, however, was neither impatient nor impatient, and said cheerfully, what's going on? Didn't I just save your grandfather, and then become your grandfather's equal? Now I am your uncle. Stop talking nonsense, you know that's not what I'm talking about. He Shuang gritted his teeth and said, I'm talking about what happened to those gangsters later. You said that. Although I helped save you later, I am a good citizen and this is what I should do. You don't need to thank me. Thank you, you big-headed devil. He Shuang wore a set of slim-fitting leather jacket and leather trousers today, which showed off her plump figure. Her plump chest rose and fell violently, which actually made Yi Bufan feel magnificent. Those people are obviously coming for you, but you asked this girl to block the gun for you. Yi Bufan said with a joking face, you have wronged me. I didn't say a word at the time. I didn't let those people smash your car, and I didn't let you stand up for me. You are rushing to do this. What does it have to do with me? You are a scoundrel. Yi Shuang was obviously angry but had nowhere to vent her anger. She said, I don't care. Come with me now and go to the police station to explain the matter clearly. Now that she saw Yi Bufan's mean smile, she was filled with anger, and she was determined to get this guy into trouble and lock him up for at least 24 hours. Yi Bufan said, you can't do this, I haven't committed a crime. Besides, we still have a special relationship. I am your uncle. Yi Shuang became even more angry when he mentioned his uncle's matter. He said angrily with a livid face, are you going to leave? If not, I will put handcuffs on you. Chapter 29 I'll make you brainless. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan was just thinking about how to deal with this annoying little girl, when suddenly there was a rapid sound of motors in the distance, followed by 3 off-road vehicles galloping from a distance. After seeing these 3 cars, the surrounding vendors backed down one after another, fearing to avoid them. With the screeching sound of brakes, these 3 cars stopped in front of Ouyang Lan's steamed bun stall. A dozen gangsters jumped out of the car, all holding steel pipes in their hands. The leader was a young man in his 20s. He had a long scar on his face that ran from the corner of his eye to his chin. He looked hideous and terrifying. It's over, it's Master Ma Jio's people who are here. It seems that this young man is running too slowly and was blocked here. Today's matter is serious. The guy in charge is called Brother Scar, and his hands are very dark. Seeing these gangsters and hearing the chatter around them, Yi Shuang seemed to realize something and asked, are these people here for you? Yi Bufan smiled and said, yes, this is coming for me, but it doesn't matter, I have police around me now. He Shuang said angrily, you want me to block the gun for you again, don't even think about it. With her status, she didn't take these gangsters seriously at all, but she didn't want to be used as a gun by the young man in front of her again. Bufan said, no, you are a policeman. How can you watch a good citizen like me being bullied by gangsters? It's true that I'm a police officer, but I'm off duty now. He Shuang suddenly thought of something, a narrow smile appeared on his face, and he said in his ear, I tell you, fighting is prohibited in China. When you start, I will arrest you all. She didn't want others to hear her words, and she was very close to Bufan's ear. The two of them looked extremely close to others, like a young couple whispering. Are you being too cruel? Bufan said, you mean, I'm going to be beaten by them just standing here? He Shuang smiled proudly and said, that's your business, I have nothing to do with it. Anyway, if you guys fight, I will arrest you. Let's see how you can still be proud of me. After saying that, she turned her face to the side, as if it had nothing to do with her. As a police officer with a strong sense of justice, she did not want to leave these gangsters alone, but wanted Bufan to help her catch them. When the time comes, I will be able to bring these gangsters to justice effortlessly, and at the same time I will be able to deal with this man who always takes advantage of me. I can kill two birds with one stone by venting the evil in my heart. As for Bufan's strength, she has no worries. Even masters like Taitu were beaten to death. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Community, not to mention these ordinary punks. At this time, Ouyang Lan heard the noise and walked out of the room. Son, run quickly, there is mother here. Okay mom, I'll take care of it here. Come into the house quickly. Bufan was afraid of accidentally injuring Ouyang Lan later, so he pushed her directly into the room and closed the door. At this time, Scar and others were getting closer and closer, and he said to Shuang, Officer are you sure you want to play like this? Shuang snorted coldly, raised his chin, and looked like you can do anything to me. A smile appeared at the corner of Bufan's mouth. This little girl wants to play with me, so let's have fun and see who can outplay the other. Brother Scar, he was the one who beat us just now. Mohican pointed at Bufan and said, maybe he was a little excited, so he burped so hard that he almost spit out the buns in his stomach. Brother Scar held the steel pipe in his hand, took 2 steps forward, and shouted arrogantly, boy, you are so courageous. You actually touched Master Maggio. Don't you want to live? Bufan said with a look of fear, brother, I was really wrong just now, and I will never dare to do it again in the future. Please give me a chance, I am willing to compensate. Shuang originally thought that Bufan would definitely take action if they disagreed, and was waiting to watch the show. Unexpectedly, this guy immediately gave up. What's going on? This guy is so skilled, how can he be afraid of a few gangsters? Brother Scar didn't know this, and his face became more and more proud. In his opinion, it was his own power that conquered the pretty boy in front of him. Boy, it seems that you are quite sensible, are you willing to compensate? That's fine, just take out 1 million, kneel down and apologize to my brother, and forget about today's matter. Bufan said, it's okay to kneel down and apologize, but I don't have that much money. Scar's expression changed and he said angrily, we have no money, so why are you kidding us? Bufan hurriedly said, brother, don't be angry, I don't have any money on hand now, but I will raise it for you right away, and I won't miss a cent of 1 million, if you don't trust me, I will mortgage my girlfriend with you first, and then redeem her after I withdraw the money. What a fucking coward. He doesn't even want his own woman at the critical moment. Brother Scar turned back and glared at the Mohawk and cursed, you losers have totally embarrassed Master Joe. You were beaten like that by such a weakling. Shuang was watching the excitement and became angry when he heard Bufan's words, hey, you're talking nonsense. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. What? Since when have I been your girlfriend? Shuang, you can't do this. I have no choice. I will raise 1 million to redeem you later. Bufan said with a helpless expression, besides, Big Brother just saw it. Clearly, there is no point in denying our relationship. That's right. I can only blame you for being blind when you find such a weak man. Brother Scar's lewd eyes wandered up and down He Shuang's body, nodding his head. Generally speaking, it is difficult for ordinary women to control tight leather clothes, but He Shuang's figure is really incredible. Not only is she tall and slender, but she is also convex in places that should be convex and concave in places that should be concave, making her very sexy, coupled with a perfect face without any blemishes. Any man will be moved when he sees it. Little girl, from now on you can follow Brother Scar. I guarantee that you will enjoy the hot food and drink. He Shuang's hot temper could not stand this, and said angrily, "Get out of here. If you look around again, I will dig out your eyes. Young bitches are quite hot. Now that your man has mortgaged you to us, it's useless to say anything." Scar waved his hand and said to the gangsters behind him, "Brothers, bring this girl to the car." As soon as he gave the order, 4 or 5 gangsters rushed up. These people rushed over and seemed to want to eat some tofu and take advantage of He Shuang. A playful smile appeared at the corner of Yi Bufan's mouth, and he put on a fearful expression. He took a few steps back and hid behind He Shuang. He Shuang gritted his teeth in anger, knowing that he was being used as a weapon by this guy again. "You all get out of here, I have nothing to do with him." But no matter how she tried to defend herself, the gangsters didn't listen at all and stretched out their hands to grab her. "Asshole, you're a brainless thing," He Shuang cursed, knowing that he couldn't escape today, so he could only vent all the anger in his heart on these gangsters. She raised her fist and punched a gangster on the bridge of his nose. Then she raised her leg and kicked the gangster next to her away. These little gangsters didn't have the skill of iron heads, and they were all knocked to the ground by He Shuang in the blink of an eye. Scar was shocked. He never thought that this woman could hit so well. He turned around and was about to run away, but was kicked over by He Shuang, and then 2 10-centimeter long high heels were unleashed on him like crazy. "Son of a bitch, I made you brainless, I told you to arrest me, and you believe whatever I tell him to say." Chapter 30 Female Tyrannosaurus. You are listening at NovelsThe. Brother Scar felt that his body was about to be pierced by the high heels, and he kept screaming like a slaughtered pig. The people around were stunned. No one expected that this beautiful and weak-looking girl could turn out to be such a ferocious female Tyrannosaurus. "Stop it quickly. I'm Ma Jui's man. You can't afford the consequences of hitting me." There was no other way. Brother Scar could only carry out Ma Jui. After saying that, He Shuang stopped. Just when he thought his threat was effective, a cold handcuff suddenly grabbed his hand. "It's over." Brother Scar's heart suddenly sank to the bottom of his heart. He didn't expect that the other party turned out to be a policeman. In fact, it's not his fault. As Ma Jui's right-hand man, he has been hanging out in Dongqing district and is not familiar with He Shuang. Having finished venting, He Shuang took out his mobile phone and made a call. 10 minutes later, 5 or 6 police cars drove over, caught all the gangsters in the car, and drove to the criminal police brigade. Yi Bufan said, "Grandniece, you are so awesome. You solved all my uncle's troubles so easily. You." He Shuang felt depressed for a while. He originally came to ask for help, but he ended up helping someone again, and she also wondered why there was always trouble every time she met this guy. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became, and she said, "Don't get too proud too early, you can also come with me." Yi Bufan said, "I didn't break the law, what did you ask me to do?" He Shuang said, "These people must have come to you for a reason. Come back with me to cooperate with the investigation." At this moment, Yang pushed the door open and walked out. He looked at He Shuang strangely, then took Yi Bufan's hand and said, "Son, what did you just say? Is this girl your girlfriend?" Yi Bufan quickly explained, "Mom, no, there is no relationship between us. Do you think your mother's ears are hard to use as she gets old? I heard you clearly just now. You said she was your girlfriend." Yi Bufan said, "That's false. I was lying to those people. I think you are lying to me. I won't ask you anymore. I'll ask the girl." Yang came to He Shuang and said with bright eyes, "Girl, are you in love with our Xiaofan?" Well. Although He Shuangshuang has a fierce personality, facing Yi Bufan's mother in this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. With this question, he was suddenly at a loss and his cheeks turned red. Ah, auntie, no. 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 She stammered and denied it, but in Ouyang Lan's eyes she was ashamed. How can you young people today be embarrassed to talk about being friends? Auntie can see that you are in love with Xiaofan, you two are already quite old, so it's normal for you to fall in love. In fact, we, Xiaofan, are pretty good. Seeing that his mother really regarded this female Tyrannosaurus as his daughter-in-law, Yi Bufan hurriedly stepped forward and said, Mom, it's not what you thought. Have you finished cleaning up? Let's leave as soon as we finish cleaning up. Ouyang Lan also knew that the matter was a bit big this time. Although Scar was captured, Master Ma Jiu might send others over. She said, after packing, let's go. As she said that, she turned back to get the canvas bag. He Shuangshuang said to Yi Bufan, for auntie's sake, I will give you 1 hour. If you don't report to me after 1 hour, I will come to arrest you. Go, 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 my aunt, can't I go by myself? Yi Bufan really didn't dare to anger this female Tyrannosaurus in front of his mother, so he could only agree obediently. He Shuangshuang left here, and Yi Bufan took Ouyang Lan back to Zuijiangnan restaurant. After settling his mother down, he immediately took a car and rushed to the Jiangnan City Criminal Police team, otherwise he would have been really afraid that this girl would come to his door. Walking into the compound of the criminal police team, Yi Bufan felt that the place was a bit messy. For some reason, the police officers who came in and out had a heavy look on their faces. He inquired about it and came to the deputy captain's office. After entering, He Shuangshuang had just hung up the phone. When he saw him entering, he immediately stepped forward and pulled his arm and said, hurry up and follow me. Yi Bufan said in surprise, hey, what are you doing? Where are you taking me again? It's an emergency. Come with me first. I'll tell you later in the car. He Shuangshuang pulled him into his sports car and drove outside quickly. Yi Bufan asked, where are you taking me? Go and save people. He Shuangshuang said, 3 of my colleagues have entered the hospital. The situation is urgent. You and I can go and see them. Although he has always been against Yi Bufan, He Shuangshuang still has great faith in his medical skills. Oh, it's okay to see a doctor. Yi Bufan asked, but you have to tell me what the situation is. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Condition. He Shuangshuang's driving skills are very good, and he said while driving, a new community has recently been developed next to Orchid Creek outside Xicheng City, Jiangnan City, called Xanadu. Originally, the environment there was very good, and the developed community was also good. However, as the entire community was about to be completed, accidents happened one after another. Yi Bufan said, does this have something to do with your colleague being sick and hospitalized? Of course it does matter. Just listen to what I have to say. He Shuangshuang said, a month ago, a vicious injury accident occurred at the construction site of Xanadu community. A very honest worker suddenly went crazy and beat 2 other workers to death with a steel pipe, and then committed suicide by jumping off the building. A week ago, another worker went crazy, injured 3 workers and then committed suicide. These 2 vicious incidents happened one after another. The workers at the construction site were panicked, and many of them did not dare to work here. Seeing that it was completed, the developer finally gritted his teeth and tripled the salary before reluctantly continuing the construction. But just last night, another vicious wounding incident occurred. A worker suddenly rushed into the kitchen while eating dinner, hacked 2 other workers to death with a kitchen knife, and then committed suicide. Yi Bufan frowned. If such incidents happened accidentally, it would be reasonable. 2 incidents would be acceptable, but 3 similar cases occurring in such a short period of time would be a bit weird. He Shuangshuang continued with a serious expression, after the case occurred, several of our colleagues went there to investigate the scene, but 3 of them suddenly fell to the ground and were unconscious and were rushed to the hospital. However, the hospital conducted a comprehensive physical examination of the 3 of them. There was nothing abnormal, but they were unconscious. Your medical skills are good and you can even cure my grandfather's symptoms, so I'll take you over to have a look. Yi Bufan said, it's rare to hear words of praise for me from your mouth. I have always said that I can cure my grandfather's disease. I admire you very much, but I can't bear to see you getting carried away. I'm a low-key person. Do I get carried away? Low-key? Being low-key still takes advantage of others in terms of seniority. Seeing that the little girl was always worried about this matter, Yi Bufan said, can you blame me? If you want to blame, you can only blame your grandfather. I'm too lazy to tell you this. He Shuang said, just ask, can you cure this disease?